to toast these. What do you guys think? Since no one's saying anything, I'm going to take a drink, and then I will tell you. I am going to be putting this on a duck breast that I'm going to be searing. So if I sear this, if I pre-toast these spices and then put them on a duck breast and then sear them, they're already toasted to where I want them, and then I sear, and now I blackened them, and that's not what I'm looking for. So if I'm gonna go into a searing process, I don't pre-toast my spices. If I'm gonna go into a sweating process, like the other day I made like a southwestern chicken soup, and I had some cumin seeds, and I did some chili powder and stuff like that. Well, those cumin seeds, and I also threw in these coriander as well, you better believe I toasted those off because they're going into kind of more of a moist application. Sweating is not like a dry heat thing where we're searing or something like that. And I'm not going to burn my spices. I'm not even going to brown my spices if I'm sweating, so I need to pre-toast them to get that flavor. And a toasted spice is a far superior flavor to as opposed to a non-toasted spice. You're releasing those oils in there, and the oil is where the flavor is. You ever hear that saying, fat is flavor? What I've been saying for 20 years now, it's more accurate. Fat's a vehicle for flavor. You put some fat in a pan, you flavor it with spices, garlic, onion, whatever, and then the fat is what's carrying the garlic and spice and flavors all into your dish, right? That fat is a vehicle for flavor. Fat is flavor. That idea. Okay, so I got a little spice blend. I'm getting ready to sear off my duck breast next. After that, I'm gonna pull it, I'm gonna rest it, I'm gonna sear off my gnocchi in the same pan, and I'm gonna finish with a little bit of greens that I have around, which are right here. Everything's getting cooked in duck fat, and it's just gonna be a beautiful thing. So I got a little blend of spinach and baby kale and tot soy, if you're familiar with it. It kind of looks like a bok choy or something like that, a little tiny bok choy. I got a little butter here. I've got my sage. I've got my parsley that you guys just saw, my parsley leaves. I've got my brown squash. I don't know if I showed you that, but it's got a beautiful color on it, and I just did it on my stovetop. I could have roasted it too. So I'll set that aside. That's going in the mix. Another thing I like for this is I've got a little bit of stock over here. I made a little vegetable stock, and I kind of seasoned that up with some soy sauce. And it's just something I made the other day, and I kind of drink it from time to time instead of coffee in the morning sometimes. And I'm gonna just add a little, if I need a little moisture in this dish, I got it there. I mentioned this earlier. You know, when you're working a saute station or something like that, Esteban, good to see you, sir. Oh, another celebrity chef right there. Awesome. I said it earlier, when you're setting up a saute station, you gotta have salt and pepper, of course, right? You gotta have oil to saute in. You can't saute without oil. But you also gotta have stock. We're making pan sauces with everything we saute practically, and so they're all made out of stock. You gotta have a little liquid on your line, wine, things like that, all of those things, right? So that's kind of part of the mise en place. Get a ladle for that. Right now, I'm in that stage of setting my station before service. I'm not in service mode yet. We've just set our station here, okay? I've got a hot pan here, though, and everything else is lined up that I need. I'm going to pull my duck over here. I've got my gnocchi over there. Now, my duck has just been sitting here, and it's kind of let out a little bit of juice, and we're going to incorporate that juice a little later in the process, because that's flavor. That's not going anywhere. You can see my duck breast is kind of seared off, and it's got a pretty good color, but the backside is completely raw. That has not been cooked at all. We're gonna do the cooking of that right now. And so, like I said, I've been heating up this pan. I'm really gonna crank it now. I tend to use the spinal tap. I'm sorry, I don't know what just happened. Okay. Sorry, folks. There we go. I tend to use the spinal tap ratio on my stove here of heat, and I'm putting this on 11 right now. It's 1 to 11 basically. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's on 11 right now. I want that pan as hot as I can get it, and I want this fat to be smoking before I start searing. So there's a little bit of duck fat. Some of that I generated earlier. Some of it I just bought at my local butcher store the other day. And my oil is already at the smoke point because I'd been heating that pan up ahead of time. This is something we do in the restaurants too. We don't just like take a cold saute pan when we get an order and put it on the stove. We keep those pans hot. Listen. That's searing. That's what I'm looking for. If it ain't making that sound, pull it out, get that pan hot. And there's my other, okay? It's gonna ride on that side for about a minute. I'm gonna throw that juice in later. We're gonna hang on to that. Notice I'm not poking it, I'm not flipping it, I'm not doing anything but let it pick enough color. This is exactly what we did last time, last quarantine kitchen happy hour, when we did a little roasting class, okay? So we're cruising right along that side. Nobody's doing nothing. I'm gonna grab a pair of tongs. The good kind. We talked about that last week. I'm just gonna lift this and take another look, take a little look underneath its little self here. And it's getting a little color there. I'm gonna let it keep going. In fact, I might just lower it down. I'm on about 9 now instead of 11. Mike, good to see you. A little Maillard reaction going on. Thank you very much, sir. Oh yeah, Liz Beard, good to see you. Joe Anthony. Nice. Hope I haven't missed any questions out there or anything. I think I've covered them all. I've been kind of trying to watch. While we're waiting, you know, everybody take a drink. Everybody take a drink with every side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip it over and start heating up the bottom and crisping that skin up again. It sat there for a while. It's, where did I set those tongs now? There they are. It sat there for a while and that skin kind of, the duck steamed a little bit and the skin kind of lost its crispness. So I just flipped it over. Check the color on that side, looking pretty nice. Now I should say, I left the little duck tenders on there. Sometimes I'll pull them off, sometimes I'll leave them on. I just decided to leave them on, but there's a little piece of meat on the back of these breasts that'll just kind of come off, and you can just pull that off and it cooks fairly evenly. I left mine on, I wasn't too worried about it. So now it's cooking from below. There's carryover heat cooking from above right now, right where we just seared. It's still hot there, and it's still, that heat's still penetrating. This guy, when I'm testing doneness, I usually do the touch method, right? I'm not pulling out a thermometer today or anything. And when I do it, what I want to do is, sorry. Let me make an adjustment here on this. Oh my gosh. And see if you guys can kind of see in there a little better. It's looking very nicely browned there. Oh my God. I should never touch the camera. Next time, I will not touch the camera. I've been searing on that second side. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay, the edges of this thing are not cooking, so what I'm gonna do is prop them up on their sides. I'll show you in one sec. I'm propping them up against the side of the pan a little bit so I can get the edges. Kind of standing them up. I really crisped up that skin just now. Look at the skin if you can see that. And you can see I've got them standing up and I'm kind of cooking the sides of them right now. I think you can kind of see. Sorry guys. I got the cooking down a little bit, but this camera work is like, I suck. It's so awesome, I love it. And now I'm flipping these birds over and kind of cooking the other side. I don't know if you can see it, but I got them kind of leaning up against the sides of the pan now, and I'm cooking the sides of those breasts. Let me elevate that gently. Can you guys see that? Boom. I'm going to ease up on the heat a little bit. I'm going to start touching these guys and pushing on them and poking them with a stick to kind of determine doneness. One of them seems a little thicker than the other, so we're going to take that into account. And when they're done, I'm going to pull them out and let them sit on a different plate. Sorry about that. I like that better. And I'm just going to kind of slow down here because I got a really thick one. One of these guys might be getting close. No, he's not there. So I'm going on the first side again, letting him roll. It's taking a little time. Oh boy, I'm going to run out of time here in a minute. Hope we can get there. Anyway, we got this duck rendered. It's beautiful. That was my main thing to talk about. Get the duck going. We may not make it all the way to the plate before I run out. I think I only have 2 hours here. We'll see. I think what I could do is, well, we're getting close. I think this guy's about there. Yeah. This other guy's bigger. Ooh, might be there too. No. I'm gonna go a little more time on this guy. Throw to Walker, cheers. Mike, just trying to see if there's any questions. We're looking good still. I'll take another drink. We're just waiting for that second duck breast to finish. And I'm just going to be searing in this same duck fat right here. This pan's already hot, and I'm going to get some nice color on my gnocchi. Gnocchi. And I think this guy's good too. I don't even need both of these duck breasts for dinner, okay? So I have all of that duck fond in there. I've got some of that seasoning in there. I'm just going to go with my gnocchi now. Pan's hot. This is going to save us some time anyway. Now this is a little bit wet, okay? So you're going to hear a reaction here. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Not so bad. So we're searing again. Searing means high heat, small amount of fat. I want all of my gnocchi touching the metal. So I've spread them out. I'm cranking the heat back up. I think I'm going to do my brown butter sauce in this little pan right here just to speed things up. I'm going to start melting butter. When we're browning butter, I don't really crank on the heat until the butter's melted. So right now, I got a low heat and I'm melting some butter. A goodly amount of butter. This is like our sauce tonight. I'm also going to take that duck juice that came out and I'm going to throw that in there too. Bye-bye. I've let that gnocchi kind of sit there a little bit. I'm going to give it a little toss. And I think we can see a little bit of golden brown on one side. Let me spread them out and I'll show it to you. I could have let it go like 30 more seconds on that side. But I got a little golden brown, as you can see. And we're going to get more. I want lots. Lots of golden brown. My butter's melting over here on the other side. That duck juice is going to just kind of cook and then stick to the pan and create some flavor in there. So we shouldn't see any chunks or anything like that. I'm letting my gnocchi sit there, developing color. And I'm not touching it. I don't want to toss it until I give it a chance to get color on that side. I love this stuff, by the way. A beautifully seared gnocchi is a beautiful thing. Okay, I got some color. I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, maybe 2 more times, because I like it. Lots of color now. Hope you can see okay. My kitchen is a little dark, I know, but I feel like we can see things a little better. When I turn on all of the lights, it's just way too much glare in here. You can't see a damn thing. So that's what's going on with the darkness in this kitchen. Let me adjust this camera and see if I can get you guys elevated a little more here. Probably not. Okay, I've got some beautifully seared off gnocchis there. Those guys can kind of kick it on the side. I'm going to move my brown butter here. And what I want to show you with the brown butter is it's foamed up, okay? All my butter's melted. And so now I'm kicking on the heat and I'm just going to swirl this pan. You'll see